This week on Unscripted, we're going to go over the reason that WWE has implemented the wildcard rule, plus update on WWE and Luke Harper, and AEW is about to announce their new TV deal this coming Wednesday at Madison Square Garden. This and more this week on Unscripted. What's going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for Unscripted, episode 69 for your May 11, 2019. What is going on, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful week. This was an interesting week for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. We did, going into this past Monday, from I believe last Thursday all the way up to Monday, we had Roman Reigns come on Twitter and say, I might be on SmackDown Live now, but I got unfinished business to do on Raw, and I will be there on Monday. First off, what unfinished business was this, and why was it needed to be taken care of? We get to Monday Night Raw, and quite honestly, we still don't know what that unfinished business was for Roman Reigns. He came out during the opening segment with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon comes out, says, this is going to be one of the best Monday Night Raws ever because I'm on it. I'm on it. And everyone's going to, and it's like, really, Vince, you expect us? By the way, WWE is running with a new gimmick for Vince McMahon where he's coming out and saying that he's a genius. He comes out with this, he's a genius. Everything that comes out of his mouth, everything that he comes out of his brain, it makes him a genius. Well, with this new wildcard rule, this is not a genius move. We have so many undercard talent. The whole reason for the brand split back in 2016 up to today was so that USA Network wanted it. When we got to 2016, SmackDown Live was going live. Vince McMahon wanted SmackDown to go live, and USA wanted the brand split just to, make Raw and SmackDown feel different. And from the brand split, the week after the brand split, so I'd say the weekend after WrestleMania the next year, SmackDown Live felt different from Monday Night Raw. Well, that first month, for sure, they both felt different because before we got to SummerSlam, both shows had different sets. Raw had this arc over top of its thing. It just all looked different. It felt different. SmackDown does the picture-in-picture. Raw does not. I wish to do with the picture-in-picture for the main event, but they don't for some reason. The SmackDown brand felt different for the first time since probably the original brand split when Paul Heyman took over and the SmackDown 6 was going on and they were beating Raw in the ratings. This, of course, was back when both shows were 2 hours. The biggest reason, and it's obvious, the biggest reason Raw beats SmackDown in the ratings every single week is because Raw has 3 hours and SmackDown only has 2. If it was a 2-hour, we had 2-hour shows for both, SmackDown could possibly beat Raw every single time, especially if Raw was on its old time of 9 to 11 instead of SmackDown, which is from 8 to 10. That 10 to 11 hour would be killer, would pretty much hurt Monday Night Raw. But from that brand split to now, WWE had stars brought up from NXT and just misused. Why is the wildcard rule going on? It's just real obvious. WWE has no big stars. Vince McMahon's new wildcard rule on WWE TV is a response to ratings pressure from NBC Universal and Fox, according to Dave Meltzer. Vince McMahon reportedly did not want to give up the idea of separate brands because apparently both Fox and NBC Universal want to end the brand split. And quite honestly, with this wildcard rule, you're ending the brand split unless when we get to Monday Night Raw, this week, you have Seth Rollins proclaim that as long as he's on Monday Night, as long as he's exclusive to Monday Night Raw, you will never see him on SmackDown Live. And then you go to SmackDown, you have to have at least one star on each brand, 1 star or 2 on each brand, establish that they will not be swapping brands in this new wildcard rule. They're on SmackDown, like Seth's on Raw, he's staying on Raw. Finn's on SmackDown, Finn can be like, listen, I did my time on Raw, I ain't going back over there anytime soon. You're only going to see me on SmackDown Live until at least next year. That would alleviate a lot of things, but McMahon, the wildcard rule will see 4 superstars from Raw eligible to appear on SmackDown each week, while 4 SmackDown superstars able to appear on Raw. We had, it was supposed to be 3. Lars Sullivan showed up, intimidated Vince McMahon, and okay, now it's 4. Then we get to SmackDown, and we have AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, and The Miz. Unless you're counting tag teams as one, and that opens a whole new can of worms, because if they all count as one, you could have a possibility of 8 teams go from Raw to SmackDown each week, and that would just make it even worse. WWE has been facing outside pressure from NBC, Universal, and Fox to bring ratings up. The network will not be happy with how bad the ratings are this coming fall because of how much money they are paying WWE. Fox and NBC Universal want star power on the shows, and there's been a feeling that that the brands don't have enough stars power individually. Whose fault is that? That is Vince McMahon's fault. That is Vince McMahon's fault, because on Monday Night Raw, for sure, how are you going to build stars when every single person from WrestleMania 33 to WrestleMania 33, when Brock won the Universal Championship, to he went away until Roman went away with his leukemia problems, WWE did everything they could to build Roman Reigns up. Anybody as a heel who had any type of buzz to them, any chance to be a star, what did WWE do? They fed him to Roman Reigns, and Roman beat them with 1 spear. WWE's directive from WrestleMania 33 to WrestleMania 34 was that nobody was allowed to kick out of the spear, nobody was allowed to kick out of the F5, because WWE wanted Brock and Roman Reigns to feel like they're above everybody else. Now that's fine if both men are on the brands every single week. One of the biggest problems with that was the fact that Brock Lesnar only shows up once in a blue moon. You might not see Brock Lesnar for 4 or 5 months because he's not scheduled for anything. And you have Roman Reigns sitting there beating people left and right, leaving nobody to feel special. It would not have killed WWE to have Roman lose. It's like to make someone just because somebody loses does not make them look weak if you have them lose by a screw job finish. Now, Roman did not lose matches like he should. How you get somebody over like a Roman Reigns is you have him go out there, get his ass kicked by somebody, and actually take a pinfall, not because he's weak, because something like a roll up with the tights, maybe somebody comes in and interferes. It was just all bad all around. And on top of that, last year, this was the most egregious part. Coming out of WrestleMania 34, Seth Rollins was the hottest babyface in the company. He was Monday Night Rollins. He was just a man on a mission to make Monday Night Raw and the Intercontinental title feel special. Then we get to SummerSlam. Then we get to the night after SummerSlam. What does WWE do? They put the Shield back together. They turn Braun Strowman heel. Well, no, he had Braun Strowman look like he's going to cash in, win Money in the Bank, win the WWE Championship, and the Universal Championship, and go on from there. But nope, out comes Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. The Shield's back together for the 2nd year in a row. Okay, that's fine. What happened to Seth Rollins? Seth Rollins went from the hottest babyface in the company to just a afterthought. The Intercontinental title went from feeling important again to being an absolute afterthought. Why? Because nobody was allowed to be bigger than Roman. One problem: nobody in the WWE universe cared about Roman like WWE wants you to. Nobody, people is trying, and this is the thing about Roman. not everybody, but a lot of people are still only cheering Roman because they feel bad that this guy went out to battle leukemia. When you don't realize that Roman Reigns didn't battle leukemia, Joe Onowale battled leukemia. Oh, but Joe and Roman Reigns are the same person. No, they are not. When the music hits and Roman comes out there, he is no longer Joe Onowale. He is Roman Reigns. I know I'm saying Onowale probably wrong, and I really don't give a shit, but he is not Joe anymore. Any feelings like when the curtain is down and he is in the back and he's in Gorilla or whatever, and he's in the back and you meet him outside of the outside of the match, is outside of everything. Like say you're at a convention or something, and maybe or like a special signing. You're not meeting you're meeting Joe somewhat, but also meeting Roman, but it's not as bad. When that curtain comes up and he's out there and his music hits and he's cutting a shitty-ass promo or he's feuding with the McMahons as he is again, Roman Reigns is okay to be booed. If you're booing Roman Reigns, get this straight. If you're booing Roman Reigns, you're not booing the guy who put cancer in remission. It is not the same thing. Now, if he's at a public speaking event and he's using his actual name and you have people there saying shut the fuck up or booing him, that's disrespectful, and I don't want anyone to be like that. But if it's in the WWE universe and he is out there and you want to boo him, but if you want to boo Roman and you're just holding back because you feel bad of what happened to him last year, just boo him. Do not let your personal feelings towards Joe stop you from booing something that doesn't feel right in WWE. We had the Superstar Shaker, which, by the way, this wildcard rule just made the entire Superstar Shakeup thing non-valid. What's the point of having an AJ Styles a Raw superstar if he can come to Raw whenever the fuck he feels like it? What was the point of putting Roman on SmackDown if he can be on Raw every single week? What's the point? Absolutely, what is the point? Continuing on with this thing, it was also noted that Fox wanted Raw and SmackDown storylines on the Blue Man show when it goes to the network on Friday nights in October. NBC Universal was reportedly upset about the recent drop in ratings, especially for the third hour, and they were asking questions about the decline and specifically why they would give away a top star like Roman Reigns to SmackDown. There's been pressure from NBCU and Fox to have the top stars bought for both shows. So, you wanted I don't get this, NBC Universal. You wanted the fucking brand split. You're the ones who wanted the brand split when we got to the SmackDown going live. You wanted the brand split. You wanted the split to happen. Back then, quite honestly, in my opinion, 2016, the brand split wasn't necessarily needed because there wasn't as much star power as there is now. Guys like Andrade Cien Almas, Mustafa Ali, Aleister Black, Ricochet, the War Raiders. I'm gonna go dip in between Viking Raiders and War Raiders. I really don't care. Like them and everyone else who've come up. Sanity before they got broken up. AOP was still down in NXT. Finn Balor was still down in NXT, but the star power was not as much as it is now. The brand split is definitely necessary now because this wild card rule is going to cause issues for live events, and this is really not a good thing for WWE. Vince McMahon's new wild card rule could end up leading to issues from the company as described by the Wrestling Observer Radio. The rule will see 4 superstars, as we know. Vince did not want to give up the idea of the brand split, but the network wants star on both shows, and they have been feeling the brands don't have enough star power individually. Furthermore, it was also reported that Fox wants Raw and SmackDown storylines. The wildcard rule will potentially cause issues with WWE live events, such as false advertising, due to the way creative operates these days. WWE won't be planning these weekly wildcard rule appearances in advance, which could lead to incidents where superstars have been advertised for live events for weeks, even months, but they're approved for those live events to appear on TV the last minute. While WWE likely won't plan out the wildcard rule appearances in advance, it was noted that Roman Reigns is expected to appear on both Raw and SmackDown often. It's been noted, of course, NBC really asked about why they gave a star like Reigns to SmackDown in the Superstar Shakeup. It's also reported how WWE has made recent hires to help bring live event business back up, and they noted during their Q1 earning calls that they were focused on bringing that part of the business back to where it should be. But the wildcard rule creates more of a decline in the live event business at a time when they're focused on getting it back up. There's no word yet on if the wildcard rule will really help with the TV ratings. I know, it's 1 week. You cannot base the success of anything on 1 week. That's just like if you wanted to start a football program, a new football like the XFL or the AAF, which was the experiment football league that happened this year. It was a bad. If like the first week was successful and then the rest of the week sucked, you can't just say, oh well, you can't just go through that first week and be like, yeah, this is awesome, this is going to be great, and then it just declines like the original XFL did. You can't base it off of 1 week, but the ratings did not help that well. We should know more within the next few weeks. It is believed that the gimmick could bring a small increase in numbers, but likely not a huge turnaround. It won't. As we know, as I was talking about Roman Reigns, Roman goes to SmackDown, and this is the thing. It's like, Roman's a big draw, Roman's a big draw, huh? Then why, when he went to SmackDown, did the ratings dip below 2 million? Before Roman went to SmackDown, SmackDown was still in the 2 million ballpark. Now they're below they're below 2 million viewers, but yet Roman's a big draw. Yes, we'll talk about those ratings here in a bit, and the fact that they were up. Both shows were up slightly, and I mean slightly. They weren't even up that much. And WWE is going to be like, especially since last week's third hour was about as bad as SmackDown was overall in the ratings. The fact that it was up above 2 million again, I guarantee you Vince McMahon's going to go, Roman has to be in the main event in the final hour every single time, when you had a WWE Championship match, a more believable WWE Championship match at the end of the night compared to what we had the night after WrestleMania. When it came to the night after WrestleMania, as everyone remembers, this was the dumbest thing ever. You had Seth come out with Triple H, I believe it was. Only Seth come out and be all happy and jubilant at the fact that he won the Universal title. For whatever fucking reason, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Big E came out, and WWE set up a title versus title match. Because on that same night, on, I believe, CBS or ABC, like CBS, or TNT, TBS, one of those ones, you had the finals to the NCAA March Madness tournament going on. WWE wanted to bring fans in, so they're like, we're going to have a champion versus champion match. Nobody expected to see both titles, like either one of those guys who just won the championship. There was no way you were taking the title off of Seth Rollins, and no way you were taking the title off of Kofi Kingston after what you did the night before. Now, going back to this past Monday, it was way more believable that Daniel Bryan could have came back this week after being gone for a month and actually won back the WWE Championship from Kofi Kingston. But there are two things now that are going to stop that. We're going to stop that from happening. One, you already have a heel Kevin Owens versus Kofi Kingston at Money in the Bank. You're not going to have Kevin Owens as a heel go up against a heel Daniel Bryan. The second thing, and Kofi Kingston just announced this yesterday, that on the 30th of May, so I believe June 6th, Kofi is going back to his home country of Ghana for the first time in 26 years. There is no way Kofi Kingston is going to Ghana without the WWE Championship. So what does that do for Money in the Bank? That spoils Money in the Bank a little bit. So anybody picking Kevin Owens to win at Money in the Bank, you're going to have to think otherwise. And by the way, SmackDown and Raw this week are go-home shows to Money in the Bank, just so you know. We're 1 week away from Money in the Bank, and it honestly does not feel like it. Just letting you know that one. The biggest problem, one of the other biggest problems with this wildcard rule is guys like Cedric Alexander, Buddy Murphy, Cesaro, Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rusev, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, anybody like Mustafa Ali and Andrade Cien Almas after Money in the Bank are going to see less and less TV time because you got to make time for the AJ Styles, the Seth Rollins, the Roman Reigns, the Daniel Bryans, Kofi, Xavier, Big E, because they're part of the New Day and the big stars for WWE. This entire thing is going to hurt the underlings. John Benjamin has not been seen in forever. He has only been seen at the Royal Rumble once, and of course a couple weeks leading into WrestleMania when he had a pretty good match with Seth Rollins on Raw. It's just not a good thing for WWE to go out there and just go, well, we're going to do this wild card rule. If you would have spent time over the last 3 fucking years building up stars, SmackDown Live on the this is how you would have built big stars. SmackDown from 2016 to the night after WrestleMania felt like a nurturing ground for young talent. You would have the AJ Styles, the Dean Ambroses, and Dolph Ziggler, Miz, and John Cena to anchor the show so you could have young talent like a Baron Corbin come up and become a better star. SmackDown Live should have been that young star, that place where talent that don't get time on Raw to come over and be able to express themselves, be able to be themselves. Talking smack for SmackDown Live before it was canceled was a big. It helped SmackDown Live superstars be able to go out there. Maybe they don't get time to cut a promo on SmackDown Live. Maybe they don't get as much time on SmackDown Live as an AJ Styles or a Dean Ambrose. Bring them on this Talking Smack. They get to open up. They get to speak their mind and show the WWE that, hey, we need to give this person a chance. Whether it's Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin actually got a little bit up higher. Baron Corbin on SmackDown Live back in 2016-17 was a better Baron Corbin than we see nowadays. He actually got to go, especially when he was on Talking Smack, you got to get this, an in-depth look at what this guy is like. You get to actually hear this guy sound real. Talking Smack was real. Everything you see on SmackDown Live and Monday Night Raw is not real. You don't get to feel that realism as much. Then, of course, we got the first ever Superstar Shakeup in 2017. SmackDown Live, and I believe Jinder Mahal was a supplemental one. We didn't really get to see him come over to SmackDown Live on the show. I think they did a little title card to say Jinder Mahal's coming to SmackDown. What happened? Jinder Mahal, the next week, I believe, won a 6-pack challenge thanks to the Bollywood Boys, who were renamed the Singh Brothers, to become the #1 contender to the WWE Championship. Because WWE got stupid. SmackDown Live got stupid. SmackDown Live felt fresh. It felt new. It felt like what everyone wanted it to be. NXT was still blowing on SmackDown out of the water in 2016, but SmackDown was right behind it. SmackDown Live felt like it felt like the B show for overall, but it was actually the A show. What happened when Vince McMahon woke up and finally realized, whoa, SmackDown Live is doing better than my show, Monday Night Raw? We have to do something about this, and we need to kill the show. They gave the title to Jinder Mahal. They gave him a 7-month title reign. He went through superstars. It was Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal from Backlash to SummerSlam. And that was 3 pay-per-views. Remember the Punjabi prison match in which the Great Khali came in? Yeah. You bring a certified jobber who can't fucking work a match. Does anyone remember the Greatest Royal Rumble from last year when he flubbed up a fucking whisper in the wind? Yeah. The guy comes in, gets the WWE Championship because they wanted to get into India with him. Yeah, India, right? Wherever the fuck he's from. Whatever the fuck he expects to him, even though he's from Canada. But they wanted him to be that guy who they could go into his home, this quote-unquote home country, do 2 shows with him as WWE Champion, and get all this buku money that they could get for him. They took the title off of him a week or 2 before the show. They canceled one of the shows because they couldn't get ticket sales off, and Jinder Mahal was nothing but He won the United States title at WrestleMania, I guess, but he was nothing after that. So you wasted 7 months of WWE, of our time as wrestling fans, killing and eroding SmackDown Live away to where AJ Styles did everything he could as WWE Champion for a year to make SmackDown Live even a shell of its former self. And it did not work. SmackDown Live suffered, and in the end, WWE has been suffering since. It's just kind of funny how NXT, we get to NXT every single week, and NXT is one of the best shows out there. And every single week, it's just, everything makes sense. There's no bullshit. There's no Uzi hot like there was this Monday, which was embarrassing. Anybody, I don't care who the fuck you are, you thought that segment with the Usos and the Revival was funny at all, you need your fucking head examined. That was not funny. Oh, it's for the kids are gonna laugh about it. There was no kids fucking laughing. That was fucking pathetic. Pathetic comedy. You could have, if WWE really wanted to get the most out of the Revival before they leave, because their good is gone, you don't come back from this shit. Instead of being petty and whatever else you want to call it, and you actually gave these guys a run to get them out of here, you have them win the tag team titles again to battle with the Usos, and the Usos and the Revival, honestly, in my opinion, could give us some of the best tag team matches we have seen on the main roster in a long time. But will WWE do that? No, because Vince McMahon has got to be the pettiest, whiny-ass little bitch on the main of all time. He just goes out there and it's like, oh, you don't want to sign my contract? I'm going to embarrass the fuck out of you because I own you for a year. This isn't like this isn't like the Revival are leaving WWE next week or next month. They are good. They are stuck in WWE till at least May or June. So why are you embarrassing them now? But honestly, it would not surprise me by the end of the year, the Revival are released, but after they get embarrassed. I could see WWE embarrassing these guys week after week after week after week. And then Vince McMahon's like, we're done embarrassing you, we're going to let you go. And WWE is doing everything they can. The reason they're doing this is because, everyone's like, AEW's a t-shirt company. AEW is a t-shirt company. They ain't going to be good. Why is Vince McMahon keep refusing to release Luke Harper, The Revival, Sasha Banks, and many, many others? Why? Because not all of them, but a couple of them would head to probably AEW or Ring of Honor or go over to Japan or even Impact Wrestling and make those shows better for it. And WWE, Vince McMahon showing his fear that Vince McMahon doesn't want this perception that WWE is not the be-all, end-all that it used to be, because it's not anymore. AEW could shit the bed tomorrow, could go into Double or Nothing and put on one of the worst shows ever. And everything that we talk about is just dead. I don't think that's going to happen, but that is what it is. WWE is fearing for themselves. The fact that Fox can dissolve Fox can dissolve the contract that they have for WWE to air SmackDown Live at any time is very bad. So WWE is in panic mode because they do realize USA did not want to keep SmackDown Live. And if we get to October and Fox pulls the deal, it's like, we're done. We're not doing it. Goodbye. You're not getting the ratings we want. Goodbye. WWE is in serious trouble. The SmackDown Live will be out without a home. SmackDown Live is most likely going to end up on the WWE Network before the end of the year, the way this is going. And this isn't even football season. Yes, I know the playoffs are going on, but here's the thing. If WWE does not do better, does not build better characters, better stories, better, don't insult your intelligence, don't say one thing and then do it do a 180 and do something else. Fans are not going to come back when the NBA playoffs are over or when the NHL playoffs are over. The NBA finals will be coming up in about at the beginning of next month. The first Tuesday, I believe, the first Tuesday of June, which is probably going to be, so I'm going to say about June 4th, I believe, is going to be the finals for the NBA. Because they do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday. It's like Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. And then like a Friday or something for Game 7 if they need Game 7. So Monday Night Raw has got possibly a couple more, like 3 more weeks of NBA to deal with in the NHL as well. Even though NHL is not as big as WWE, as NBA. SmackDown is going to probably get crushed in the ratings, especially, it's not going to be as bad, but yeah, if the NBA playoffs are, if the finals are the teams that I think they're going to be, SmackDown is going to probably be crushed. And if you don't do what you need to, having Roman Reigns on Raw and then having Roman Reigns on SmackDown in the same week is not going to help anything. You're overexposing your characters. You're overexposing people. Becky Lynch is, and we'll admit it, Becky Lynch is still one of the top, hottest players in the game for WWE. But Becky Lynch has been on Raw and SmackDown, minus this week, has been on every Raw and SmackDown since WrestleMania and since she won the titles. Thank fucking God they kept her off SmackDown Live this week, so we at least got a day off of her. Because she was on the European tour for Monday Night Raw. Hopefully, when we get back to the States, he's on, I'm just hoping Becky Lynch loses one of those titles, and then we don't see her crossing over on either show, because we don't need it. But WWE is going to be overexposing AJ Styles. Like, Seth Rollins, I'm just hoping, that's because these next episodes of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live are going to be taped shows, which is gonna fucking suck. But I'm hoping Seth Rollins will come out and be like, this new wildcard rule is nice and everything, but I bleed red, and I'm not going to SmackDown anytime soon. And I'll be like, that's fucking great. At least you have a main star on Raw who's only going to be on Raw. But then Roman is going to be exposed, and WWE, the wildcard rule for Roman Reigns is a bad thing. You have fans cheering you right now. Somewhat. The boos are there. WWE is doing everything they can, and they're working their magic to make Roman Reigns look like the badass star that he is. And that fucking video package they put on Tuesday night was absolutely fucking stupid. It was manipulative, and it was pathetic. This guy is, quote-unquote, over for them right now. Why are you trying to do everything you can to get people to hate Roman Reigns again? Go back and watch that video package. It's on the WWE. It's on the WWE Network, on the YouTube page. My question is, why was this video package not? I know they had. It's got WrestleMania 35 footage in it. Why wasn't this video package used the night he came back? That would have been the night to do it. I watched this thing on Tuesday, and I'm like, this is fucking pathetic. Every big moment that they showed in this package post-Shield. When he won the Royal Rumble, they show pictures of fans. Honestly, it looked like a different sex. They had video footage of fans cheering this guy. When everyone knows that night that he won the Royal Rumble, there was nobody cheering him. This motherfucker was getting booed out of the building. But yet somehow they found fans cheering this guy. Goes to WrestleMania. They did not show the match at WrestleMania 31 because he didn't win it. We go to WrestleMania 32. Again, when one of the worst main events of all time in WrestleMania, they show this guy winning the WWE Championship, and they somehow, again, show fans cheering when we all know this guy got booed out of the building. They didn't show WrestleMania 34 because why? He didn't win. They showed the match at SummerSlam last year when he won in the dumbest, flukiest way ever. They showed fans cheering him. But nobody was cheering Roman on that night. People weren't really booing either. They were just pissed that they brought Braun Strowman out to, be the buffer for Roman Reigns so Roman Reigns could not get booed as much because everyone expected the cash in that night and it didn't happen. But all these big moments when Roman won, they showed in these clips, they showed fans cheering him as if he was the great conquering hero that he was. Absolutely fucking pathetic and manipulative. Anybody could look at that. If you look at that as a fan who's never seen WWE, not as a fan, but if you show that to a non-WWE fan and they see this thing, they're going to get the impression that Roman Reigns is one of the biggest heroes, one of the biggest stars of this company, when he's not. Roman Reigns has been on SmackDown Live for 2 weeks and the ratings have dipped. Yeah, they went up just a slightly bit this week because guess what? Roman wasn't there. Nobody, and then some jackass sat there when, we'll talk about this in a second, when WWE posted a video of Buddy Murphy from during a commercial break, and somebody posted a comment on this saying, should have put this on SmackDown Live than the Roman Reigns package. Some dumbass said, oh, so you're going to put a virtually unknown in a spot instead of the biggest star of the company. I'm like, dumbass? Roman Reigns is not the biggest star in the company. And yes, that's how you get people over. That's how you get people like Buddy Murphy should have time over an established star. Roman Reigns did not need that video package. We know who Roman is. We know what he's been through. Having that segment with Buddy Murphy air on SmackDown Live would have got exposure for Buddy Murphy. He hasn't been seen on SmackDown Live yet. They did 3 of these. 2 on Raw with Mojo Rawley and 1 with the Iconics. And then Buddy Murphy on SmackDown. During commercial breaks, they had these guys, these 4 individuals go out there and cut promos in front of the crowd. Why? I don't fucking know. But here's the question. If you're going to do that, why should we as fans care about Mojo Rawley, Peyton Royce, Billy Kay, or Buddy Murphy? Putting Buddy Murphy in this, and it's like one of these things is not like the other. Putting Buddy Murphy in the same position of the Mojo Rawley and Idiotics promos on SmackDown Live, which they did on Raw, just says Buddy Murphy is no better off than Mojo Rawley or the Iconics, which are your women's tag team champions, by the way. Hey Sasha, are you proud of those tag team willing those tag team titles into existence? Because they are trash. They are just absolute trash. Talk about a tale of 2 nights for a group of men, because Monday Night Raw, you had that embarrassing segment with the Revival, with the Usos, coming out being comedians, terrible comedians, but comedians. They go to SmackDown Live, and it feels like they're just where they should have been on Monday Night Raw. They felt like the Usos again. They didn't feel like fucking jackasses making fun of people shaving their back, or putting Usi hot cream down their fucking tights. Yeah. The Usos felt like they should have on SmackDown Live. They come out, they talk about the tag team title. Shane, you earned those things by beating us, which no, they did not. The Usos did not lose the tag team titles to Shane McMahon and The Miz. That was the bar. But no, revisionist history, whatever. So, the Usos, keep them on SmackDown Live. Put them back on SmackDown. Don't ever have them show up on Monday Night Raw again, because Vince McMahon is ruining what the Usos do. One of the biggest things coming out of this week is AJ Styles, Kofi Kingston, Sami Zayn fought over the WWE Championship on SmackDown, whereas on Raw we had a WrestleMania rematch between Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan. Both matches were good, both matches were great, but it is what it is. They were great. They were both good matches. And WWE is trying to build Kofi up to be a credible champion. Unlike what they did with Jinder Mahal, with everything they did with Jinder Mahal, made him look weaker as can be. And the fact that Jinder Mahal was WWE champion for 7 months was a crime. Jinder Mahal, the biggest difference between Kofi Kingston and Jinder Mahal is that Kofi Kingston has the talent to get him over and make the WWE championship feel special. Jinder Mahal had none of that. He had no talent. He couldn't make the WWE Championship feel special. Couldn't cut a fucking promo to save his life. Was not believable as a heel champion. So, yeah. Anybody who wants to sign, I, on Monday, was hoping Kofi would have lost the championship because the only thing holding Kofi Kingston back as WWE champion is he has got to drop the pancake shit. Enough of this. You are the WWE champion. WWE champion. Sitting there, coming out, skipping along, tossing pancakes. Enough of it. It's time to get serious. This is the most coveted prize in all of sports entertainment, and you're acting like a fucking goofball jack-off. Give me a fucking break. I want you to lose the WWE Championship simply because you are not championship material if you're going to act like a fucking 2-year-old. You're acting like a fucking child, jumping around, skipping around, tossing pancakes like you're a fucking... Enough of the fucking pancakes. I don't give a shit. Oh, we had a lumberjack match about 3 years ago. Oh, what do lumberjacks eat? Oh, they eat flapjacks, so we're going to do a whole pancake thing. Enough of it. Honestly, those pancakes look like they're a health code violation anyway because who knows where the fuck your hands are? You're throwing them out to people. People could get fucking sick, and you're sitting there throwing fucking pancakes. Enough of it. Grow the fuck up, act your own goddamn age, and be a serious WWE champion, or WWE needs to take the title off of you tomorrow. Just saying. Let's see what else we had here. NXT had Bianca Belair versus Mia Yim in a so-so match. Bianca Belair and Mia Yim. Belair is way ahead of Mia Yim when it comes to in-ring presence and in-ring performance. Okay match. You had Riddick Moss return after months and months away from a pectoral muscle tear. He lost to Raul Mendoza. He's got this new Riddick regimen, which is a take, I believe, on the Simon Dean. I thought back a couple years ago when Bull Dempsey was in WWE still, they had the Bull Fit thing, but I guess this is a little bit better idea. We'll see what happens if they go with like the infomercial shit that they did with Simon Dean, where he comes out and starts doing infomercial shit. I hope the hell he doesn't, but we'll have to wait and see on that. And then, of course, Adam Cole and Matt Riddle. Great fucking match. Matt Riddle, I was hoping this would be the NXT TakeOver 25 non-title match that we would get in NXT TakeOver, because I would hope Johnny Gargano would get a buffer, somebody he could defend the title against on the first TakeOver since he's won the title. And then when we get to NXT TakeOver Toronto, after about a month build or so, we could have Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano 2 at TakeOver Toronto. But this is TakeOver 25. It does make a little bit more sense, I guess. You want a big show. It is in Bridgeport, Connecticut. It was supposed to be in San Jose. Scheduling conflict because the night before, you were going to have Crown Jewel, Standard Time, whatever the fuck they're going to call it, the Saudi show, which will not be covered on this show. I do not want to even talk about anything that happens in that show. But the biggest thing coming down out of this match between Cole and Riddle was Roderick Strong came down when Adam Cole was out of the ring. He wanted to help Adam Cole back into the ring, takes a penalty kick, distracts the referee for Adam Cole to hit a super kick on Matt Riddle, who did a flip over the top rope to get back into the ring. The ref comes back in, and he gets a 2 count on Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle puts him in the remission, and he taps out. And the biggest thing after that was Adam Cole blamed Roderick Strong for losing the match, even though Roderick Strong was only helping and, quite honestly, didn't do anything to cost Adam Cole the match. That's the biggest thing about this thing is, like, what did Roderick Strong actually do to cost Adam Cole the championship? I mean, not the championship, but the match. When NXT went off the air, they showed Roderick Strong leaving the building. Adam Cole and the rest of the Undisputed Era come out, and they're yelling back and forth. Adam Cole calls Roderick Strong a little bitch. Roderick Strong takes the shirt and the armband and throws them at Adam Cole, and Adam Cole says, "You probably do not deserve to wear this." Now, where is this going to lead to? We have about 3 weeks, I believe it is. 3 weeks coming up? 3 weeks. 3 weeks from next Saturday. Yeah, 3 weeks from Saturday. 3 weeks from today, actually. Yeah, 3 weeks from today. That Adam Cole is going to go up against Johnny Gargano. I see this thing as being a ruse, and maybe Johnny Gargano, I'm hoping, doesn't lose the championship yet. But I could see Roderick Strong being the reason Adam Cole wins the NXT championship. Maybe something happens and Johnny Gargano gets screwed out of the championship at TakeOver 25. We will have to wait and see. But Raw, SmackDown, NXT, definitely. Raw sucked. SmackDown, it was a better show. Definitely, after Raw was so bad. There was so many people who were saying they are done with WWE after what they saw this week. SmackDown's ratings, and this is not fun. This sucks for SmackDown. SmackDown ratings are down, but it's not really SmackDown's fault. SmackDown can put on a great show, but the fact that it's the night after a terrible Monday Night Raw, and I don't know why I said one, but it could be the night after a terrible Monday Night Raw. Why would fans who are watching WWE expect anything else? If Raw's terrible, why am I going to watch SmackDown? When, yes, WWE tried to make SmackDown and Raw for a moment. They tried for about 6-7 months to make SmackDown and Raw feel different. They don't feel different anymore. But having SmackDown and Raw feel different was great, and now it's not. So, if WWE wants their fans to come back, you need to do one thing. Get rid of the wildcard rule. Sit there, take time, and actually let your creative writers come up with stuff and make SmackDown feel different from Raw. I mean, the set needs to look completely different like it did the first time we got done. Like, until SummerSlam, where we go to SummerSlam, we come back, and the next two nights, we had SmackDown and Raw use the SummerSlam set, and I was like, oh, okay, I think we all gave it a pass because it was at the Barclays Center. SummerSlam was at the Barclays Center. SmackDown and Raw was going to be at the Barclays Center. We all expected it. Oh, okay, it's going to change. We'll go back to what we had before the next week. Nope, we stuck with that set, and WWE's like, oh, well, yeah, it is what it is. SmackDown and Raw. SmackDown gets hurt in the ratings because of Monday Night Raw. But in order for SmackDown to improve, and quite honestly, SmackDown going on the Fox on Friday is not going to be good. You could have the best show going on was Friday night. Who the fuck wants to watch wrestling on Friday? I'm not one of those people who goes out, has a bunch of friends, wants to go hang out with them, go to a party, or go to a barbecue, bonfire, whatever on Friday night. But there are people who out there who do that. There's wrestling fans that go out and do that. They have friends, they want to go out. Friday night is honestly one of the worst nights to have SmackDown or a wrestling show on. SmackDown's been on Fridays before, but it was a tape show. SmackDown going to Fridays is going to be a huge challenge. I cannot see them because, yes, they're going to be on. They're going to be on, Fox. You don't even have to have a cable box to get Fox. All you have to, you can go to the local drugstore, dollar store, get some of those rabbit ears or antennas, plug it into the back of your TV, and you can watch SmackDown Live every Friday for free. After that first fee. But you can watch SmackDown for free. Doesn't matter. How many people are going to want to sit there and watch SmackDown? The biggest thing, because here's the thing. If SmackDown does bad, I can see because what they're going to do during the NFL season, and other parts too, because I know Fox does some baseball probably too, is that they're going to have the other sports advertise SmackDown. I guarantee you, if SmackDown does bad, Fox is going to, because Fox is probably going to rein him in for a minute. Don't say bad shit about SmackDown. Don't bury SmackDown. Just sit there and say something good. Say something nice. If SmackDown goes down in the ratings, I guarantee you, some of the cynical announcers on these commentators or announcers on these other sports shows are going to bury SmackDown. SmackDown is not going to be on Fox. This time next year, SmackDown will not be on Fox. Guarantee it. Fox wants a 3.0. And yes, because There's a lot. People have better access to SmackDown Live. Nobody is going. It's going to be easier to get SmackDown Live than it is Monday Night Raw. But quite honestly, SmackDown is not on a good. It's not good. College football does have games on Friday nights usually. Not like the big games. Not like opening week, isn't it? Isn't it opening week for college? Isn't that on? Like opening week, isn't there like a big game on Friday night? I think that's what in September. Yeah, so I think SmackDown's good this year. If SmackDown makes it next year, they're not going to be there very long. Fox wants a 3.0 SmackDown. Yes, it's going to be a lot easier to get due to the fact that you don't have to have cable to get Fox, but it's on a Friday. How is WWE going to be able to sell SmackDown on a Friday? It's, in my opinion, it's not going to be able to. SmackDown Live is in for a huge challenge. Roman is not a ratings draw. Anybody's like this person who sat there and made them fool of themselves said, other than the McMahons, Roman Reigns is the most intriguing character to casual fans. Oh, really? That's why SmackDown Live's attendance is down. That's why SmackDown Live's ratings have been down even worse since the Superstar shakeup. Yeah, because Roman Reigns is a ratings draw. Roman Reigns has not helped the ratings one iota since he's come back. Now, I'm not going to blame Roman Reigns completely for the ratings drop. I don't blame a single superstar on Raw or SmackDown. I don't blame Roman. I don't blame Seth, AJ. I don't even blame Baron Corbin. The only person that you can blame for the ratings to fall as far as they have is Vince McMahon. Everything you see on Raw, especially everything you see on Raw, SmackDown seems to be a little bit less Vince McMahonish because it was like the Usos. Like I said, Usos, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown Live. It was night and fucking day for these guys. Night and day. One day, they're fucking comedians. They're terrible comedians trying to embarrass the Revival, and the next day, they're serious, wanting to have the tag team titles mean something. They haven't even tried to face the tag team champions or do anything with the tag team titles on Monday Night Raw. So what the fuck are they a tag team for? If WWE and here's the thing with the Revival, if WWE wanted the Revival to be broken up, they could broke up. If they really wanted to punish the Revival, if the Wild Card rule wasn't a thing, you at the Superstar shakeup, you could have sent Dash to Raw, SmackDown, keep Dawson on Raw, and there you go. The Revival was broken up. There is no more Revival, and these guys are nothing. But no, they didn't. They kept them together. Why? I don't fucking know. Just for the Usos to bury them? Well, the Usos signed a 5-year contract. You didn't want to sign a 5-year contract? Hey, Usos, embarrass them. Things like that is going to hurt WWE. Having that Usi Hot segment was not something WWE should have ever put pen to paper. Vince McMahon put that pen to paper, thought it was funny as hell, and was like, we're going to fucking do that. Why? Because Vince McMahon is a petty motherfucker. Speaking of the ratings and things, WWE decided, well, we're going to make a change to social media. What did they do? You may have noticed how WWE did not upload any YouTube videos on Raw this past Monday until late in the show. This was done a way to potentially help combat the drop in ratings, according to Dave Meltzer. The current plan is to cut back on the amount of uploads to YouTube during Raw and SmackDown episodes. The feeling is that uploading videos as matches and segments happen on TV is potentially hurting the ratings. WWE usually uploads clips from Raw and SmackDown matches shortly after they happen on TV, but that was not the case. This past Monday, they started uploading the first clip from last night's show late in the third hour. So, why would you wait until the third hour? Why not just wait till the show's over? Why not just wait? If you're worried about, because the first hour is going to get all your views. The third hour is the one that's hurting the most. Why would you put those clips on? That's actually, quite honestly, that would actually, if this actually had anything to do with the ratings, that would actually hurt your ratings even more. Because people would be like, well, I'm going to see what I missed, especially those who come in late. They go, oh, I can see what I missed, and I'm going to go watch that instead of this. All the clips from this past Monday's Raw were uploaded within an hour of the show going off the air, which isn't far from how they usually do it. The big difference this past Monday was that there were no YouTube clips on the show for a while. It was still airing on the USA Network until the final hour, while WWE is changing the policy on YouTube uploads. At least for now, it looks like things will not change from Twitter. WWE uploaded photos and videos as usual. I can see the photos staying because that's really not going to do anything different. Oh, let me just sit here and watch. Like anyone, like YouTube, I can understand if they want to try that. But Twitter, it's like 6 seconds, I think, or 10 seconds is the most you get. You really think fans are going to sit there on their computer and just watch the WWE timeline to see what's going on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live? No. WWE uploaded photos and videos as usual on Twitter this past Monday, with content going as it airs on TV. WWE is clearly, of course, facing pressure to bring ratings up. You can read. They did that, of course, on SmackDown Live as well. The new YouTube strategy continues in this week's SmackDown episode. WWE not start uploading matches and segments until the second hour. They often start uploading SmackDown clips late in the second hour, but the uploads began even later than usual. The content strategy on Twitter did change, which did not change, which was the case with Raw, as they are tweeting clips, photos, and matches on segments as they happen on TV. Did this help the ratings? No. Does WWE really think that people are going to, who are burned on the show, are going to go and just watch YouTube and go to YouTube and be like, well, Monday Night Raw sucks. I'm going to go to YouTube, and just check out Raw as it goes. No. You need to worry about building your fucking characters so you don't have a reason for people to go later and watch. Just because, it's not on YouTube, I'll go watch something. I'm going to have to watch the show. No. Unless you're going to take the clips from Raw and SmackDown and put them on your YouTube channel at the end of the week, this isn't going to make a difference. You've started putting them up at the third hour. So what? If that's how people even watch some of your show or keep up with your product, they're gonna go and watch the Warriors and the Rockets who played yesterday, or they're gonna go watch their favorite TV show. They're gonna go watch something else. Maybe they'll even watch a movie. Oh, I'm gonna go see what's going on with Monday Night Raw. Okay, Oh, Raw sucks anyway, so why would I want to go back and watch it? That is the dumbest thing I could ever see. YouTube, changing your YouTube strategy doesn't make a difference. Does not make a fucking difference at all. This is not going to combat the ratings. This isn't going to help anything. Raw's second lowest viewership of the year. WWE's Raw featured a much hype appearance by SmackDown superstar Roman Reigns, plus a returning Daniel Bryan versus WWE champion Kofi Kingston in the main event that also featured Blue Brand superstars, to 2.244 million views according to Show Buzz Daily. This is only up 4% from last week's 2.154 million viewers. This is the second lowest viewership of 2019 and the third audience for a non-holiday Raw episode in history. Last week's Raw drew the lowest non-holiday Red Brand viewership in history besides 2018 New Year's Eve and 2018 Christmas Eve taped episodes, which drew 1.968 million views and 1.775. This also introduced the wildcard rule as a way to help boost ratings. The rule led to 2 WrestleMania 35 rematches that were advertised early on in the show. For the viewerships this week, the first hour, and here's the thing, the first hour drew 2.468. This is up from last week's 2.336. The second hour dropped to 2.240. Actually dropped below 2.240 and was actually lower than last week's episode, which was at 2.241, but still technically lower. And the final hour drew 2.024, which of course is up from last week's 1.898. And here's the thing, Vince McMahon is going to be like, well, Roman did it. Roman got the ratings up a little bit. Roman. Nope. You advertised a WWE Championship match between between Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, where a lot of fans could have seen Kofi Kingston losing the WWE Championship because it was more believable this time around. Nothing they did helped the ratings enough. It's 1 week. And here's the thing, if the wildcard rule is still a thing going into effect next week, now quite honestly, Monday Night Raw can sustain a wildcard like rule where you have, because they do nothing but, there's a lot of filler on Monday Night Raw. This is the problem with a 3-hour show. SmackDown Live does not need to see Raw superstars coming over to mingle with SmackDown superstars because you're taking away from people on SmackDown. Raw, I guess, can deal with it because they really don't have anybody on there outside of a Seth Rollins, a Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio. That's like, they don't have as much. So yeah, they could use a little bit of wild card, I guess. But it's not going to do anything. If we come to Raw next week, and the ratings dip again, the wild card rule was a failure. The wild card rule, if the third hour dips below 2 million again, then this entire wild card rule was a failure already. This time last year, Raw averaged 2.68 million viewers, so the audience is down 16% from this point in 2018. SmackDown Live rating was also up a little bit. This week's SmackDown episode featured WWE Champion Kofi Kingston retaining over AJ Styles and Sami Zayn in the main event, plus the crowning of the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Daniel Bryan and Rowan drew 1.931 million viewers. This is still way lower than anything Fox wants to see. This is the number. Monday Night Raw has got NBC Universal, and it's not going anywhere. SmackDown Live has got to work their ass off to get their numbers up. The problem is, WWE Raw burns fans out. They leave to go watch something else, and they don't come back for SmackDown. This is up 5.3% from last week's 1.833 million viewers, and the third lowest viewership of the year. It's also the third lowest SmackDown audience of a non-holiday first one episode in history. SmackDown was number 11 on the night, blah, blah, blah. Don't give a shit about that. This big draw on the network TV, no. They compare Monday Night Raw, of course, to 2.24, and this is just not good for WWE. Let's see. This is not good for WWE. Obviously, the superstars, they want superstars. You have no big superstars outside of an AJ Styles, a Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, if you want to put him in there, which he's not, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Randy Orton's just, who knows? Which, it's just they don't have the star power they should have. You have all these superstars. You have an Andrade Cien Almas, a fucking Ricochet, an Aleister Black, a Mustafa Ali, Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Braun Strowman. You have so many fucking names on this goddamn product. There is no goddamn excuse why this product is so goddamn bad and why these ratings are so goddamn in the toilet. No fucking excuse. Vince McMahon, it's time to let go of the book, put somebody else in fucking charge, have your head writers for Raw, your head writers for SmackDown, which, by the way, they fired the head writer for Raw. Why? Because the guy who played Rajan Singh thought he was setting a bad example for the writing staff, and he took creative changes too personally. Maybe the guy was fucking annoyed with the fact that he goes out there, has good fucking ideas, put out, has an entire show put together. We get to Monday Night Raw, and what happens? Vince McMahon on his whim changes everything. He's like, you know what? I like that shit on Sunday. I don't like it anymore. I'm changing every single fucking thing because I'm Vince McMahon. It's my fucking company, and I'm gonna change it. I would take that shit personal too. If I'm getting paid to do a job, and then that job and everything that I do gets thrown in the fucking trash, why the fuck would I not take that personally? If you have a passion for something, and you go to do it, and somebody tries to change what you do, or tries to tell you how to do your shit the way you want to, you're going to take that personally. Especially in the writing field. WWE has a bad reputation in the writing field, in the inner circles of the writers. People don't want to go there and write for WWE because it's a bad It's a bad environment. You know, you go there. Unless you're working in NXT where your ideas actually have a chance to come to fruition. You go to WWE's main roster. You're just there collecting a paycheck. Why even put pen to paper on the main roster? Everything that you do just goes in the trash because it's not a Vince McMahon idea. Everything we see on TV has to be from Vince's head. And it's fucking pathetic. This isn't the 60s, this isn't the 70s, this isn't the 80s or the early 90s or the 90s at all. It's in 2019. Vince McMahon is 73 or 70 whatever years old. It's time to let go of the book, go sit in your office in Stamford, Connecticut, write the fucking checks, do the business side of this, which gets you all the TV deals and shit, and let other people get this company to where it needs to be. The ratings are dropping, the stocks are dropping. You had a major financial drop in the first quarter of this year. Of course, that's going to probably go up, probably not as much as they wanted to, into the second quarter. Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Arabian deal is going to end up killing WWE in the end. This company is never going to get better until Vince McMahon is gone. Speaking of big money, Raw star turns down big money offer to leave WWE this summer. WWE veteran Rhino recently spoke with entertainment reporter Chris Van Vliet and revealed that his last date with WWE is on Wednesday, July 17th. He had Vliet also sent us a highlight of the interview. Rhino said he offered him significant money. WWE offered him significant money to stay with the company and not wrestle. He said, and I quote, July 17th is the last date there. Rhino revealed they actually offered me more than twice my downside, but it wasn't there where they would have to use me because the downside is so large. And it wasn't about money. It was about me wanting to be on the road work and helping the younger guys, kind of like a player coach. WWE, it was exclusively reported earlier this month that Rhino had started taking indie bookings because his deal is expiring sometime in July. He continues, it was a mutual understanding that we're not going to figure out a number, and they've been great. I can't say anything bad about them. I had a lot of fun. I was afraid that they would say yes to a larger downside than what they offered me, because I was afraid they would still sit me at home. It's not that they won't like me. There is a lot of talent there, and they have to cycle the talent, which is normal because you want to get men and women out there to work. I was afraid that I would become miserable, and that's the last thing you want to do when you are doing something that you love. True. I would rather take a step back and work for some of these companies and work the independent scenes. Rhino was asked about why he wouldn't want to take a larger contract offer, but it comes down to being on the road for him. That's a good question, he said. And I came back and I said I wanted to be on the road. I feel good. I feel very blessed that my health is there. My job is to find the next John Cena, the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, the next Rock, and how I can help these guys. If I'm not on the road, if I'm still sitting at the marina, that'd be nice. I'd be very fortunate to do that. But I can't help those younger men or women improve on the indies. I can do that. And with other companies, whether it's AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, I've done that before in the past, and that's something I can do in the future. Rhino was asked if the WWE offering these large contracts to wrestlers because they are scared of talent signing with AEW. He said he has no inside information, but he does believe it comes back to competition. Of course it does. WWE, until about 5 months ago, wasn't doing contract offers. Until All In happened, WWE was there was no talk of WWE signing all these, trying to get everyone signed under 5-year deals. Before AEW became a thing, the maximum WWE would usually sign a competitor to was a 3-year deal. 3 years. They're signing people to huge, big money, 5-year deals. Do you think they're scared? You think they're not scared? They're scared. I don't know if they're scared or if they're concerned. There is no inside information. This is just what I think. And if there is no other talent out there, then no other companies can grow. He said there's a lot of stuff, whether it's Impact, Ring of Honor, or New Japan, where they're doing more stuff over here in Impact and AEW and those other companies. If they don't have the equipment to build that factory, then there's not going to be the competition, so to speak. So I think that's why they're re-offering a lot of money. Rhino also reveals that he's not under a 90-day compete clause with WWE, which he said, my contract ends on July 17th. And like I said, they have great to me when I go to work. I had fun. Yeah, Rhino. I would say this time around for Rhino was interesting. He made his return to WWE, going to NXT. Now Rhino, a 20+ year veteran of wrestling that went to NXT, was in the finals of the first ever Dusty Road Tag Team Classic, battled Baron Corbin, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, others in NXT, came up to the main roster, and did the whole Slater and Rhino gimmick, where they became the inaugural Tag Team Champions for SmackDown Live. So I would say he had, for the most part, for the first 2-3 years of his he came back in 2015. So his first 2.5 years of his time back in WWE were more successful than what he did later on. News on Luke Harper's release request. Luke Harper reportedly asked Vince McMahon if he could be released from his contract in November. If WWE wasn't going to use him, but Vince McMahon told him to take it up with Triple H, the Wrestling Observer newsletter, as the Triple H then didn't respond to Harper, at least as a press time. If I'm Luke Harper, I'm badgering Triple H until he gives me a fucking answer. I went out of my contract. Vince says I had to take it up with you. Can you please release me? I don't even care about going anywhere else. I want to just go work independence. I don't even care about, because AEW wasn't even announced yet. I don't care about Impact. I don't care about Ring of Honor. I want to be gone. You guys don't want to use me? Just get rid of me. I would have badgered these guys until they fucking released me. Do what you have to do to get out. We know that WWE has offered, WWE officials chose to add 6 months to Harper's contract and make up the time he spent on the shelf after wrist surgery. The contract expires in November. It looks like Harper will be paid to sit at home, as the Observer notes that he has been given no further bookings, but they will also not let him out of his contract. It was reported before that Harper won't be able to leave the company until around WrestleMania 36 time in 2020. It was reported early in May that Vince informed Harper in writing that the company would not be releasing him from his contract. This is apparently a response to Harper requesting his release back on April 16th. And there's that. There has been some speculation on Bray Wyatt trying to get Harper back on TV for his Firefly Funhouse storyline, but it looks like WWE will not be using Harper while he waits on his contract to expire unless plans change. Anything can happen in WWE. Maybe Bray Wyatt can get him to be on there. Who knows? Look, Harper, it's kind of pathetic that WWE won't let him come back. They have a very talented guy who should have been in that WWE Championship match between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. What was it, 33? 33, right? Yeah, 33. WrestleMania 33. Yeah, 33. Should have been in that match, but wasn't. Why? WWE is WWE. He should be used for something. This guy has too much talent. The guy is getting up there in age. He's got to be wrestling now. If I'm him, I'm doing whatever I can to get out of this contract. Sitting at home sucks, I'm sure. This guy wants to go out there and wrestle. He had a match against Dominik Dijakovic at the Worlds Collide tournament, the Worlds Collide event, and I guess it was a really great match. I didn't see it because I haven't got around to seeing it. But this is just Vince McMahon's pettiness at a standstill. Oh, we're not releasing you because we can't. Because we don't want to. We don't want to use you because you can't do a southern accent. Fucking petty. Fucking petty. It's just, and we'll talk about some more pettiness here in a bit. But Marvin Ellis signs a new WWE contract. This contract will keep Marvin Ellis lead announcer on WWE NXT brand, according to PW Insider. The terms of the deal were agreed on about a month ago. The deal will also allow Ranallo to continue working on non-WWE gigs in the world of MMA. Morrow first signed the WWE to work for SmackDown in December 2015, which was an absolute mistake. Absolute mistake that they brought this guy up to SmackDown immediately without going to NXT. He briefly left in April of 2017, but returned in June to become the voice of NXT. It was reported then that Ranallo signed a multi-year deal with the company. Ranallo has also called the Cruiserweight Classic 205 Live for WWE. He also does comedy work for Bellator MMA and Showtime Boxing and Showtime Networks. Honestly, great to see Marvin Ranallo stay in WWE. He is NXT through and through. This guy is the voice of NXT. I don't want to see him go anywhere. I don't want to see anyone else take his spot. I don't want to see anybody else. Like, I don't want to see him go to Raw and SmackDown at all. They want to put him on 205 Live to give him a little bit more work to do. Fine. That's whatever. He can go work 205 Live, and you could have Marvin Allo and Nigel McGuinness and Vic Joseph, if you want to do that, or try to. Marvin Allo staying in WWE is great. Because quite honestly, I don't see anybody coming in to work NXT and replacing Marvin Allo. Definitely the best commentator in the sport today. Now, before we get into this next one, I'm just gonna have to say, 18, like the 12-year-old virgins out there, you stand no chance. You stand no chance. There's been a lot of rumor on the relationship status of Alexa Bliss and Buddy Murphy as of late. And now Ryan Satin, the Pro Wrestling Sheet, reports that the two superstars ended their relationship in September of 2018. In regards to the rumor of Bliss and Buddy Murphy calling off their engagement, a source close to Bliss confirmed she and Murphy ended the relationship and have been living apart since September 8, 2018. I am told Bliss is still a huge fan of Murphy as both wrestlers and a person, Satin wrote. Bliss and Murphy were engaged to be married back in December 2015 after Murphy proposed. WWE made an attempt to keep several superstar couples together in 2019 Superstar Shakeup, which again was pretty much a worthless waste of time with this wildcard rule. But Bliss was kept on Raw while Murphy was kept on Tuesday nights, going from 205 Live to SmackDown. There was speculation on why Bliss and Murphy weren't put together. Bliss did congratulate Murphy on his call up to SmackDown. Murphy appeared on Lillian Garcia's Chasing Glory podcast back in January of this year and talked about how they make the best of distance that work puts between them. He said, yeah, complete opposite schedules, Murphy said, but it's one of those things where you just kind of, to me, that's how the cards are being dealt for me. For now, I look at it, well, it's only for now, so I can look at it like, but yeah, I support her 110%. I watch her stuff, I send her promos, I send her my promos. She said she's the one that helped me how to speak. She taught me heaps. Like, I try to help her in the ring, and she helps me in the character stuff. So, there you go. To anybody who's like, oh my god, Alexa Bliss is single, let me go. You don't stand a chance. Go find your own Alexa Bliss. The cute little blonde down the street. Go talk to her. Stop, like, anybody who has the Alexa Bliss pictures on Twitter and shit, and just wanna sit there and creep on Alexa Bliss. You people need to get your heads together. Go find your own Alexa Bliss. You're not going to ever have Alexa Bliss. I know, just like anyone else, you don't stand a chance. She has her standards, and believe me, anybody who wants to creep on her, you are below an Alexa Bliss standards. Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Asuka, Kairi Sane, any other women in the WWE, you are below their standards. Just saying. Upcoming Stardom match was canceled due to WWE's pettiness. And I put that on there. Stardom has announced that Toni Storm versus Bea Priestley match scheduled to take place on May 16th has been canceled due to circumstances beyond their control. For the upcoming Korakuen Hall show on May 16th, the previous match between Toni Storm and Bea Priestley will not take place due to circumstances between their control. Thank you for understanding. Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer Radio, reported in a recent episode of Wrestling Observer Radio with Brian Alvarez that WWE decided to shut down the upcoming match between Storm and Priestley, as Storm was going to lose to Priestley, which she is a new AEW signee. Will be at Fight for the Fallen, the next show in Jacksonville. Toni Storm, was going to get a shot at the Red Belt World of Stardom Championship, which Bea Priestley just won. Bea Priestley, the title the other day, won the title the other day. So they were setting up a match for the 16th, I believe, at Korakuen Hall, and WWE found out and canceled it because Bea Priestley is an AEW wrestler, and she was going to go over because she's the champion there, and Toni wasn't going to win the title. Think of this. This is not on WWE's TV. This is not in the United States. This is on a Stardom show at Korakuen Hall. They don't want their woman who's not even a main roster woman because that woman is with AEW. Okay, I'm not even saying they're wrong. I'm not even saying it's petty, because if it was, if I was in WWE, given that Toni Storm is the UK Women's Champion, I would probably say, hey, I want to protect my champion. I don't want her losing. Can we work? But would say we can work out a draw, and then Stardom would have the ability to make a decision. They did not give Stardom even the ability to work out a draw. It was like, no, she can't wrestle B. We can't even work out a draw. So they had to change the card. I can understand this. I can understand not having Toni Storm lose to beat Priestley because she's AEW. But first off, it's in Japan. It's at Korakuen Hall. How many WWE fans, how many fans of the UK, WWE NXT UK, are watching Stardom's event next week? I'm not, and I'm guarantee you most people are not. That show is going to be for the fans of Stardom. You could have, like, the match between B. Priestley and Toni Storm could have went on. WWE could have been like, don't let Toni Storm lose. What they could have done is a double countout. Maybe Storm hits Storm Zero on B. Priestley. She falls backwards, and both women get counted out to 10. It's a draw. Toni Storm doesn't lose. B. Priestley doesn't lose, and there you go. But no, Vince McMahon has to be petty and ruin. And this card that's happening in 5 days probably has been promoted in Japan for a while. The fact that WWE is going to sit there and ruin Stardom's plans is just pathetic. It's in Korakuen Hall. It's not even New Japan. It's Stardom. I don't know how many people actually sit there and outside of Japan actually watch Stardom. So instead of actually working with Stardom, instead of having your representative come back and have somebody from Stardom come in and you work out how to get this match to happen still, because you have been promoting this match for weeks probably. Why not just have it happen like that? This was just WWE's pettiness. The match could still happen. Just figure out a way. Just figure out a different finish that has B keep the title and Toni Storm not lose to AEW. You could have had a run-in if that's what they do. I don't know what they do. I never watched Stardom. Maybe, like I said, you have a DQ, a double count-out, whatever. Just make sure the match could happen. We'll just have to just leave it at that. Lana, you selfish person. Lana believes she can bring the WWE TV ratings up. The Ravishing Russian took to Twitter this week and posted a revealing shot. He posted a 10-second clip of her in a bikini, and she said, #SmackDown Live, call me when you want ratings, because no one will ever make #SmackDown Live, #Raw, or #Money in the Bank Lana match ravishing like I can. How fucking selfish can somebody be? How fucking selfish could you be to try and take a shit on everything the women? Ronda Rousey came in to make women's wrestling mean something. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Paige, Tennille Dashwood, aka Emma, all put the women's division on their back to make the women's division mean something. And you want to go back to the Attitude Era days with just, oh, let me go walk out there with my tits and ass showing up and everything. Fuck that. Put some clothes on. This isn't the Attitude Era. This isn't even the Ruthless Aggression Era where that shit sold. We want people who can actually fucking wrestle. We want the women's division to actually mean something. This is the most selfish thing somebody could fucking do. There's a reason you aren't in the ring. There's a reason you're not on TV other than to be the manager of your fucking husband, because you can't fucking wrestle. You can't cut a fucking promo. You suck at everything other than being Rusev's manager. Give me a fucking break, Lana. That's fucking selfish. The fact that you want to sit there and try and take everything that the women have tried to do to make women's wrestling mean something, and just throw it all the way to just go out there and walk around like a fucking $2 whore. Fuck that. Stay the fuck off TV, and after this bullshit, I don't want to see you on TV again. Fuck that. Stop being selfish, think of others, and realize that this would hurt the women's division more than anything. You can get ratings? Bullshit. Go fuck off, you fucking little bitch. Ooh, this one's been interesting. WWE hoping Lars Sullivan's controversy stays low and disappears. The remarks that Lars Sullivan is referring to are a series of statements made by him on bodybuilding.com forums from as early as 6 years ago, ranging from the year 2007 to 2013 under the two separate usernames. These comments range from homophobic to racist to I can't say it. Just pretty much some shitty stuff. Some comments are also disparaging to current WWE talents such as Kofi Kingston, R-Truth, and Daniel Bryan. He also takes jab at people suffering from mental health issues and having to rely on prescription medication. Current WWE talent like Big E and Kalisto have both expressed their opinions on Sullivan's past remarks. Sullivan made a statement on this. Sullivan's words have come back to haunt him, and the WWE superstar has issued an apology to the media through the WWE. The following statement was sent to the media outlets from WWE on the path of Sullivan, a.k.a. real name Dylan Miley. There is no excuse for the appropriate remarks that I made years ago. They do not reflect my personal beliefs nor who I am today. And I apologize to anyone I offended. The remarks that Sullivan's... Okay, yeah, we got that one. Yeah, this is bad for WWE. This is a guy that you want to strap the rocket to that they brought up way too fucking early. This guy, somebody who is definitely green in the ring still, needs more time in NXT, and they brought this guy up because Vince McMahon got his eyes on him around SummerSlam weekend for War Games, and this dude is supposed to come up. He was gone from WWE for a minute because of mental issues, which I think had to do a little bit of this. Mars makes a statement about this. Mars Wrigley, also known as the people who do Snickers, not Snickers, the Mars bars and M&Ms and stuff like that, has chimed in on Lars Sullivan's past filled with homophobic and racist comments about becoming aware of the issue with Sullivan, which Sullivan has since apologized for, responding being able with the statement that they find the statement abhorrent. Find them abhorrent. As such, they're reaching out to WWE in order to make sure their working relationship stays intact, as they do not share his values. They said, "We learned of Lars Sullivan's comment recently and share in your shock and disgust as a values-based company. We find it behavior abhorrent and unacceptable. We have engaged in WWE to discuss the situation and seek to understand what actions we'll take to swiftly address this matter." First off, WWE known about these. Anyone who's wondering what happened, well, 2007 to 2013, he was on this bodybuilding.com. He would make comments about Kofi, and I think he even made sexual comments to Stephanie McMahon, which didn't look really good. But all these comments and stuff, Vince McMahon and WWE, they knew about them before they hired the guy. So anybody wondering why is he still here? Why would WWE fire him? They knew about them before they hired the guy. So anybody wondering why he's working here and hasn't been thrown out yet, well, now things are going to get interesting because Mars, the company Mars Wrigley, who is one of their sponsors, has come out and said they're contacting WWE. Lars Sullivan probably won't be in WWE very much longer if this is how this is going to go. They want it to go away. WrestleVotes came out and talked to somebody in the company who's one of their sources, who said pretty much WWE is not going to do anything about it right now. They're hoping that it calms down and it disappears. But now you've got a sponsor coming out and putting a statement out. What if Snickers comes out? What if any of the other sponsors come out and come out statements? Lars Sullivan will be fired from WWE, and there's nothing they can do about it. Their sponsorships matter more than anything else. If WWE is not happy, if the sponsors aren't happy, there's not going to be one of those things that they can suspend him. They can't suspend him for comments made from 6 to 12 years ago. They can't. That'd be stupid and dumb. But they can fire him because they came out if they want to. I think they could also get in trouble for that. But if it's what the sponsors want, It's what the sponsors want. Lars Sullivan's push might just be dead because of it. Maybe we go out there and maybe on Monday or Tuesday, whenever he shows up again, Lars Sullivan goes out there and gets his ass kicked. This week's Monday Night Raw with SmackDown Live, if Lars Sullivan is on him, will give us a tell of what they're going to do. Should they be able to fire him for something said years ago? Fuck no. It's a different time. It was years ago. He's a different guy now. Did any of these comments happen in the last 2 years? No. Did any of these comments happen while he was under a WWE banner? No. So, why should WWE be, taking this guy and punishing him for things said years before? This is one of the things that pisses me off, is that everybody, the views of people change. Yes, he was young, he was immature, he was dumb, maybe he shouldn't have said any of that shit. Did he think he was going to work with WWE back in 2007 to 2013? Probably not. But things happen. Should WWE fire him? No. I think they could get in trouble if they fired him for things that were said before. We'll have to wait and see. This is just one of those topics that just pisses me off because your past will always come back to bite you. Be careful what you say on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, whatever, any social media thing. Whether it's if you're a YouTuber and you had something that you say you're one of those YouTubers who has been around since the early days of YouTube. Maybe you're one of those ones. And you said some things in one of your videos back then that would not be as acceptable nowadays. There's going to be people who want to bring you down. There's always, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're famous, if you're somebody who started from nothing and get up to a certain area, there's always going to be somebody trying to bring you down because pretty much because they're jealous that they can't be up there where you're at. That is the problem. So you got to be careful what you say. You got to also realize nowadays everyone has a camera. Everyone, anyone's phone, quite honestly, anyone's phone can become a portable recording device that could get you fucked over anytime. You got to be careful what you say in the public, what you say at home, what you say on boards. Do not say something on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or anything that could come back to haunt you later. I believe Cedric Alexander also had some kind of homophobic or some kind of I think it was Cedric Alexander, maybe Mustafa Ali too at one time. I know it's one of those two, that a past post of theirs on Twitter came back to bite them for a minute. Did it hurt their pushes? No, but they had to go out and give apologies to it. Just be careful because especially anybody like me or anybody else who's trying to get up to what other people are doing on YouTube, you got to be careful with your social media activity, because if your social media activity is dodgy and is not good, and you're sitting there making remarks and bad judgment calls and saying shit that you shouldn't be saying, you get to say you're a YouTuber and you're bottom of the barrel, and then 2 years from now, you have a video and it goes off, and then you just keep on going and going and going, and you just keep on going out and putting out gold, and just everything that you put, everything you do on YouTube just does well for you, and you're just making the money that you want to make, you're making a living that you want to make, and then all of a sudden somebody is jealous of you, and they go back, and there are people who do this, they go back and they just look through old posts of somebody that they want to bring down, and they find a post, maybe 2, maybe 3, of you using the N-word, you using racial slurs, you using homophobic slurs. They're going to grab that, they're going to plaster it every fucking way that they can just to ruin your credibility and bring you down. Lars Sullivan is suffering from that right now. Was it right for him to go and say all that stuff? No. Was it right for anybody to go out there and try and ruin his credibility? No. Everybody has, views for people change over the years. Lars Sullivan probably had different views back then. He was a young kid. That's the thing. That's the thing it always seems to be. Almost every single fucking time something like this happens is because somebody was a young kid who didn't know any better and just felt, well, my life, I don't know what I'm going to be doing anyway, so I'm just going to say what the fuck I want. What happened? They went off to do something great, and their life got ruined because of one stupid post or a couple posts. If you're Lars Sullivan, Dylan Miley, this was definitely, it's just one of those things that's going to bite you in the ass, and eventually it might go away, it might not. We'll have to wait and see. Before we go on the AEW news, I do want to let you know that the XFL did come out with their video packages for for those stations that we're going to see the XFL on. ABC, ESPN, Fox, FS1. So Disney and Fox have struck a deal with the XFL. There are no rate fees for Fox and Disney, so I don't know exactly how that's going to work. How does the XFL make money off of that? I don't know the logistics, but Fox, FS1, ABC, and ESPN are going to be quoting XFL games next year. So anybody who wants to check out the XFL, you know where to find them. They have on their Twitter page the schedule for games, like what time the games are going to be next year, but they don't have any team names and logos. So who the hell knows where each one of those teams are going to go? We'll have to wait and find out. We still have one. They still have one coach. They still have the Houston coach to get us, and then the team names, logos, and colors. Which I will. Hopefully, they do them all in like one day. The teams, names, logos, and colors, because I will have that on an episode of Unscripted, and I will go over them, and I will probably make fun of them if they are shitty ass names. On to AEW news. AEW announces new name and rules for Double or Nothing Battle Royal. All Elite Wrestling has named a new name for the over-the-budget Battle Royal at Double or Nothing. The match will now be called the Casino Battle Royal. It also announced the following rules for the three-show match. 21 wrestlers over-the-top Battle Royal. 5 men will start. Every 3 minutes, a new wave of 5 men entered. Lucky 21 competitor enters last. Battle Royal entry numbers picked at a later date. Cody, on the latest episode of Road to Double or Nothing, has also noted that how they're going to do this is that they're going to have a deck of cards. And as we all know, 21 pickup, you have aces, jacks, like you have the entire cards. You have diamonds, clubs, hearts, and whatever the ones. But you're going to be in those. So if you pull the ace of diamonds, you're going to come in. You're going to be one of the first to come. You're going to be in that first wave of 5. And what they're going to do is every 3 minutes, they're going to randomize it, and whatever suit comes up, say it's like diamonds the first time, the first 5 diamonds are going to come in, and then the second suit, say, is clubs, then the first 5 clubs are going to come in, and so on and so forth. The person who draws the lucky Joker card will be entrant 21. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Let's see here. AEW hires former ECW champion. This is awesome. All Elite Wrestling announced that they have signed former ECW champion and former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion Jerry Lynn to work as a coach. Lynn reacts to the news on AEW and wrote, "I am privileged to be a part of AEW. There's no word yet on what AEW coaches, but names working as producers, which could be a similar role to what Lynn ends up doing. Christopher Daniels, Keith Mitchell, and BJ Whitmer. Lynn is a 30-plus year veteran of the business who has worked for WWE, ECW, TNA, Ring of Honor, and WCW, of course, and others. This is awesome for younger talent. If there is one person, especially the young, like, cruiserweight talent, junior heavyweight talent, stuff like that, if there is one person that you want to talk to when it comes to, like, cruiserweight, or heavy, like junior heavyweight type of action, Jerry Lynn is definitely one of those guys. He was one of the first guys to help TNA bring up the X Division and make that what it was at the start. He was one of those guys. So this is great for Jerry Lynn. I don't know exactly what he's going to be doing, what coaches actually do, but I honestly see him being a great asset to the AEW family. Yes, he's probably there could be a time where he does a wrestling like he's a referee. He might wrestle once in a while. Maybe he's in the battle royal. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's great to see them getting him as a coach. I think he'll do great for AEW, and they're going to be all in the more better for it. AEW's TV deal all but confirmed for the US markets. All Elite Wrestling pending TV deal is expected to be announced ahead of next week's Warner Media upfront meeting and promotion. And the promotion will likely see a weekly show on TNT. Which, if it's on TNT, then there's only one day that they can go to, and that's Wednesday. If TNT is the promotion, if TNT is the promotion, is the channel they're going to get, then they're going to be on Wednesdays, because Tuesday and Thursdays are contractually obligated around October, November, December, January, February, and March time to have NBA basketball games. So I don't see them moving the NBA off for AEW. Wednesday is going to be their day. According to Tom Maglio of The Wrap, AEW Turner deal is virtually done, and the partnership is expected to be announced an hour before the upfront takes place. Tony Khan and some AEW talent are expected to be in attendance at Madison Square Garden, where the meeting is taking place. Of all places, just to stick that knife in Vince McMahon's back even more, Madison Square Garden is the perfect place to announce AEW's TV deal. It was noted that financial terms of the deal are not expected to be disclosed, as AEW is not and should never be a publicly traded company. But the weekly show is expected to debut this fall. AEW and Turner representatives were asked to comment, but did not at the time of the publication of Aglio's report. Last month, The Wrap reported that AEW and Turner were in advanced talks for a deal, but it was far from the deal. But put the announcement date in jeopardy. This is good and great. If it's on TNT, it's going to be on Wednesdays. Wednesdays is the only time that I could see them putting it on TNT. They're not going to put it on Mondays, even though I think they would kill WWE in 1 week. They're not going to put it on Fridays because of SmackDown Live. Wednesday, Tuesday, and Thursday are going to be preserved for the fall schedule, unless which I don't think the NBA rights deals are up yet. I think NBA still has another year or two on their deals for TV. But Fox has NBC. This will be interesting though, because AEW on TNT is going to TNT makes no sense because of the NBA, and around this time there is NBA basketball on, especially at the end of April into May. NBA basketball is on every single day, at least 2 or 3 times a week on TNT, because it is the playoffs. I don't see them using TNT. I see TBS more often because there's a lot less they have on TBS than TNT. I know, TNT is the bigger name for Turner Broadcasting, but I think TBS would actually be the better one for them because they have a lot more opening. They have they have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday instead of just Wednesday for the most part. We'll have to wait and find out. The upfronts are on Wednesday. We will go over it next week on episode 70 of Unscripted. But one last thing before we get out of here: Angelico is All Elite. It was reported this week that Angelico was on his way to All Elite Wrestling despite WWE's interest in bringing him in the NXT brand. WWE apparently did not want to get into a bidding war with AEW over Angelico, and it was confirmed on the wrestler's Twitter that AEW is indeed his next destination. Angelico isn't coming alone, though, as Jack Evans was also announced in the video as a member of AEW since 2018. Evans has been working with AAA after departing from Lucha Underground. Angelico commented on what he's been doing the past year, and how it was now time to make a decision about what he would do next. During the last phase of my career, I've been in Europe to prove myself again in the very best and the biggest and most prestigious company on the continent, Angelico said. But now that I have achieved my objective, I find myself tired Tired of the day to day, the lone travel, the airports, the injuries, the sacrifice, the rumors, and the routine of it all. There comes a time in your life when you have to choose to turn the page, write another book, or simply close it. Jack Evans then called Angelico and asked him if he's ready, and Angelico responded, "The real question is, are you ready for us?" I know very little about Angelico other than his time in the Wrestling World Cup for What Culture Pro Wrestling 2 years ago. He was on the... I think he was on the... Angelico's from Australia, isn't he? So I think he was on the other worlds portion of that. I know he was on one of the legs. I've seen him wrestle a couple times. I didn't really get to see him much after that. But he's a good wrestler. He's a good worker from what I got to see. That is great for AEW. He is just going to be another one of those guys that if you've never seen Angelico before, you're going to be... And it's not Angelico, it's Angelico. Say it right. If you're sitting there watching the guy, it is Angelico. That is how it's pronounced. That's how it's always been pronounced when I've heard it. It's Angelico. Can't wait to see what he does. AEW is getting their roster together. Hopefully, I don't see them signing much more. Because I don't think they really need to have a overabundance of a roster. I think they've got enough as it is. We'll just have to wait and see what happens here. But I cannot wait to see what happens here. They've also signed a new referee. They've also signed... the signings are just coming in, and AEW has all the tools to succeed. All they have to do is execute. That's all they have to do is execute. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We have 14 days, 2 weeks until Double or Nothing. 2 weeks. And Money in the Bank is next Sunday. Double or Nothing is the Saturday after that. But that is your Unscripted for your Saturday, May 11, 2019. Find me on Twitter at TheFranceCon. Find me on Twitch.tv/TheFrance08. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. And I will see you guys Monday for another abysmal episode of Monday Night Raw. Because, I'm sure as hell not looking forward to that. I know you're not either. But I'll see you guys then. Until then, you guys have a good one.